Hello everyone, this is Moshe, the electric Israeli on FSD. If you're new, please subscribe and help me change the world one electric car at a time. Follow me on Twitter or X now. And if you're in the market to buy a Tesla car, please use my referral code. And I am not driving. It's a driving video today, but I am not the driver. My wife is. We are now on our way back home from about 850 miles of drive. We went from New Jersey to Montreal. Been there for a couple of days. Then went back to Lake George. Beautiful Lake George. I highly recommend. And we were there for one night. And it's really, really great. And now we are on our way back. So this is a small trip for us because we are really, really long distance travelers. We go to Florida once a year and many trips like that. And what I wanted to talk to you about this trip, first, as you saw at the start, let me just go over a little bit over the highlights. So like I said, about 850 miles, average speed 75 miles per hour. The temperature was hot, 80 to 85 degrees. The consumption was high, and I'm going to tell you why. The consumption is about 275 miles per watt hour per mile. That's what I meant, watt hour per mile. Usually it's much less. The air conditioning is blasting, and we are not chipping out on speed. So this is the beauty of long range cars, electric cars that has long range. You can really allow yourself to drive. Now, the two major things that we saw in this trip is the performance of the FSD in Montreal. Obviously, we're out of the United States. Now, I knew that the FSD is available in Montreal. By the way, you can buy FSD in almost any country around the world. It's just not activated. It's like basically an enhanced autopilot. That's what it is. But in the future, we will give you FSD. So the FSD per se, with all its features that are activated in the United States, work in Canada as well. The layout, the graphics, everything, the single stack and all that, everything works in Canada. And I drove it, quite a lot inside downtown Montreal, and I made a separate video for that. I can tell you that it's not better or worse there than in anywhere else, in any other American city that I drove, meaning it's great in certain things and it has its issues in other things. So it was good to see, I'm saying this as a compliment. It was very, very good to see how it performed, and that's great. So hopefully it will roll out to other countries around the world, especially if Tesla wants to not only make good money on this, but also to advance this amazing technology. So on the highways, like my wife is driving now, on the highways always been great to me. Some people complain, I don't. If you do it the right way, it is going to do a very good job for you in the highway. Now the other thing we saw, and I made a video about that separately, is I would call it the proliferation of the electric cars. First of all, you see them all over the place from all kinds of brands, and also we had one one experience when a BMW i4 was charging in a Tesla charger. The Tesla has the dock, that dock that you can actually pull out the CCS charger. So we went to a charger like that somewhere in upstate New York. And it's one of the very few chargers that has this capability. As you know, next year Tesla will provide chargers to almost every single auto company that has electric cars, and they'll be able to use the superchargers with the adapter. And starting in 2025, those companies like Ford, GM, and others will build their car with the NACS standard, meaning the Tesla standard of charging, and that would be no need for any adapters. Now, one thing, and I said that in that separate video, that car, because the chargers is on the right side, not on the driver's side, on the passenger side in the back, that required that car takes 2 spots. Now you can imagine what will be the reaction of Tesla drivers who want to charge and all the spots are taken, and one of them is non-Tesla cars who takes 2 spots. Forget 1 spot, 2 spots. Now there was another, and this one is an incident. There was another incident of a guy with Kia Niro who has the charger in front, who's trying to use the Tesla charger. He doesn't know that Tesla charger doesn't work on any other electric cars unless the Tesla charger has the CCS. So we went to another Tesla charger in New York that didn't have that. So it's funny to see how at this point you would think that everybody would know where they can charge and where they cannot, especially non-Tesla drivers, and if you need an adapter or not, and still people don't know. So what I'm trying to say, we have a long way to go of educating the public about charging and long distance charging and fast charging. It's very, very interesting. I can tell you also, in anywhere, especially in Canada and also in the United States, we were in Lake George in a Holiday Inn, and there was a lot of parking spots, and the back was like about 6 or 8 chargers, like slow chargers, and we used one for overnight, and it was wonderful. It was really wonderful. So the charging infrastructure is getting so much better if you're a Tesla driver. If you're not a Tesla driver, your choices are very limited. Not in slow charging, in fast charging, because you still cannot use Tesla chargers unless you hit one of those superchargers that have that CCS dock that you can use. So again, if you are a long distance driver, if long distance driving is what you do, you go to a lot of vacations or you just drive around, it's great to have at least one electric car in your fleet that has a long range, and I mean 300 miles and up, 450, 500 kilometers. It's really, really great. So that was our experience in this latest trip. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.